Hi, welcome to Water Insider. I'm Naver, and this is Ponchik. Ponchik, say hi. Come. Hi. And today we're going to be talking about this new materialistic world. What do I mean by that? It all starts from you. Your actions, your habits, your routines, the way you think and talk about water. Let me paint a picture. Imagine you wake up in the morning. You wake up, you wash your face, and you brush your teeth. While you're brushing your teeth, you probably leave the tap open on full load. Then you probably take a shower, maybe a little too long. You go make breakfast, you clean your dishes, clean your vegetables and fruits. Then you go to work. You make a cup of coffee, it gets too cold, so you actually make another one because why not? And now you're back home. You cook some more, you do some laundry, and then maybe you have a garden, so you're giving some love to your plants. You see where I'm going with this, right? These seemingly harmless activities are actually causing mainly two problems. One, increased water usage, and two, more contaminated water. When we think of water, we mainly think two things: the water that's in the ocean or the water that comes into your home. But actually, it's much more than that. An interesting fact, actually. We have about the same amount of water that we used to back when there were dinosaurs around. Why? Because water doesn't just disappear. It always recycles. So let's assume it all starts from rain or snow or hail. It gets onto the earth. Some of it evaporates back. Some of it goes to the aquifers. That's a topic I covered in another video. And most of it also goes to the sea or oceans or any kind of water that we have. Some of it also goes to the poles, up and down, and there you go. We have the same amount of water. So it's always recycling, coming back and forth. So I know that I'm making this whole recyclable thing sound super simple, but it's more complicated than that. The reason is because we're actually polluting this water a lot more, and as a result, we're having more dirty water rather than fresh water that we can use for consumption, whether it's for drinking, agriculture, industrial, or whatever. So what happens when we end up with more dirty water rather than clean water? Well, we end up having to filter it and use wastewater for drinking water. So if you're asking if we drink our pee, so since I'm so passionate about this topic, I found an expo and I found an industry leader and I interviewed him. So let's see what he has to say. At a summit called World Future Energy Summit, and it's basically a summit where they are talking about sustainable future, solar energy, eco waste, and one tiny part of this summit is about water, which I was very, very sad actually to find out about, because water is such a big part of what we do and what we are. And that's one thing that people are not aware of. So whatever we produce, whatever we make, whatever you can think of, actually involves water in them. So that leads me to a question. Are we going to pollute more, or are we going to be able to treat water more? So who's going to win this battle?
Thank you for having me today. So I'm Dr. Youssef Bruzin. I am the regional representative of an international development organization called IMI, the International Water Management Institute. So basically we help government and other stakeholders to achieve water security.
It is a very good word you've used there, security. Why would you say security?
You know, the demand on water is increasing, yes, and will keep increasing. This is a fact. But the amount of water that we have is limited, and in some projections, some analysis, it might be even decreasing in some parts of the world. So when demand is exceeding the availability of water, so we start talking about security. So we need to secure the amount of water that need to be there to sustain our development, sustain our lives and the lives of the different natural systems.
Yes, I agree. And we also know that water is not unlimited, but we also know that water is getting recycled, right? So we have the same amount of water today as we had thousands of years ago. How is that being changed? Why are you saying that demand is being increased, but we still have the same amount of water?
Because of the modernization, urbanization, the development of agriculture, and the increase in terms of demand on food. So we need to grow more, etc., etc. Agriculture will continue being the largest user of water, most of the parts of the world, including in some water scarce areas like the Middle East and North Africa, because we need food, we need to eat. So water, as we said, is very linked to climate systems. So if we have less rainfall, less snow, which is a reality in big parts of the region, we will have less fresh water. while the demand is increasing.
So you're saying that the human is kind of affecting the way that water is today as opposed to thousands of years ago?
In some extent, yes.
What do you think there are some measures that we can take that would help us be more water efficient?
In terms of habits that every one of us can adopt in terms of consumption, we need actually to review or revisit our way of looking at everything around us by trying probably to be minimalist at a certain extent. If we have this possibility of picking those with the lowest water footprint, it will start from there. This is number one yet. As citizens, we again need to adopt practices, which is the amount of water that was used to produce these products. Can be fruit, vegetable, and other products, but also surfaces. Surfaces can consume. So if we can circulate and recirculate objects, products, it will be good, because water is definitely used there. So if we use the same subject as much as we can, it will definitely help in reducing the amount of water that was used in the production process, and it will also decrease the impacts on the water quantity by discharging, by throwing less things.
Wow, and that applies to anything?
Absolutely, anything.
Anything,
Water
starting
is-
from your clothes to your glasses, because it's always like a circle, right? It always,
Absolutely.
whatever goes around
Absolutely.
comes back
And
around.
water is everywhere. So
Correct.
yeah. And you remember we touched on the anthropogenic, the human impacts on water. So we might have in some areas where, for some reason, human activity is affecting the quality of groundwater by infiltrating pollutant. It is happening in many parts of the world.
What would be an example? Like pesticides, for example?
Can be pesticide, can be excessive fertilizers, can be industrial discharge. We have a lot of industries who are discharging a lot of things on the natural resistance after treatment, of course. Most of the countries, they have regulations in this regard. Yes. Young people like you can also advocate and help the other organizations in increasing awareness, and your channel is one of these tools, and I congratulate you on that. So yes, increasing the awareness within the society is something that we definitely need.
Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate the interview. So don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you not to do any of these fun things for you. But what I'm saying is that to be a little more mindful. For example, if you have a shirt that is white, you don't need to have 5 of them. Or if you have a garden, don't use a sprinkler, because sprinkles actually use a lot of water. Instead, what you can do is you can invest in drip irrigation or so many other things. There's a solution to every problem. You just have to be a little more interested to finding out what it is. So let's try to make this change happen together. Subscribe, stay tuned, and let's make a change all together, because I'll be making a lot more videos on how to be more water sustainable, how to love water and filter it better. Thank you.